G'day world, it's Myriad coming to you live for Myriad 2018. We're down here in the garage, and this live stream is brought to you by Everledger and Invest Sunshine Coast. We're here with Ty from Evolve. How are you doing today?
Good mate, yourself?
Yeah, doing well. So tell us a little bit about what Evolve is.
Yeah, so Evolve's a company I started in 2006. We're a product design, development, manufacturing and fulfillment company based here in Brisbane. Our big thing is designing and developing products that we can manufacture in Australia more cost effectively than offshore. And we're very, very active in the reshoring space, so bringing manufacturing back to Australia and helping founders, new product developers, startups, and also large manufacturing companies themselves with their components, and helping them ultimately be more profitable and more successful, and being part of their journey as well.
That's amazing. So what were you doing before you started Evolve?
I was installing air conditioners.
Okay. So what brought you to the decision to say I'm not doing air conditions anymore and I'm going to start a big manufacturing company, design agency?
So when we're installing air conditioners, we were importing them from China. So my family's history is an import-export company. My old man's been going to China for nearly 40 years. And at the time we were importing air conditioners, I was running installation crews putting those air conditioners in. And the one thing that was limiting the amount of air units that could be installed every day was the amount of concrete that we were carrying. So some days we were carrying up to half a tonne of concrete. So I sort of sketched out a new design for a lightweight plastic alternative to a concrete slab. The product was called Polyslab. And it was the sort of journey through designing and developing that product, knowing full well in the back of my mind that if China could make that product more cost effective than I could here in Australia, didn't matter how many patents I had no money, so I knew I wouldn't be able to fight the patent. So the whole process was designing the product so I could make it cheaper here, so China couldn't rip me off. And so the whole process of going through that, having to engage with designers, developers, patent attorneys, all that sort of stuff, and ultimately commercialising that product all over the world, and then selling it a few years ago to a US private equity firm. It's all of that sort of is what Evolve is now today.
Amazing. So tell us a little bit about the type of projects you're working on. We've got behind us a bee hive, which went viral on social media, and I caught her on social media. My mum loves it. She wants it in her garden. Tell us a little bit about that product and why it went viral.
Yeah, so Flow Hive, a few people may have seen this around. It's literally, I think it's currently the 6th largest crowdfunding campaign in the world's history. Set all sorts of records, fastest to get to $1 million, all sorts of stuff. So father and son from Byron Bay, we engaged with them midway through their crowdfunding campaign at a time where they were so successful with that, they were then starting to work out, okay, how the hell are we going to actually make all of these? And they were looking at different companies in Australia, looking into China as well as to manufacture the product. And by getting involved with them, we were able to really short circuit from design and having a functional prototype to getting it commercialised and shipping it to over 130 countries all over the world. So that's the sort of a typical project for us. Someone's got an idea, whether it's just a light bulb moment or it's actually a physical product they've been selling for a long time. We get involved, we refine it, we try and eke out every last cent we can possibly save, whether it's in the part itself, packaging, logistics, whatever it is, to ultimately make it the most successful it can be. So, yeah. Great
stuff. And you solely work with any type of company that is looking to sort of build something amazing?
Yeah, for sure. So we're very much, we like to help. So if we don't engage with a company or a person, it's generally because we can't add value. So we've got a pretty strict rule, because I'm the same. I knew back when when you're scratching around for every last cent you can to pay wages the next week and that sort of stuff. Wasting time and wasting cash along the way can be detrimental to any business or even a new product. So we've got a strict rule. We add value or we get out of the way. We work with everyone. So, a father and son that have come up with a literally a multi-million dollar idea, to someone that's come up with a baby product that they might only sell 5,000, to companies that do hundreds of millions of parts every year. So yeah.
So a question I have for you is, why is it important to sort of collaborate collaborate? Why is it important to collaborate?
That's critical. You can't do everything yourself. I'm massive on collaboration. I think it's one of the things, in particular in the manufacturing industry and also design, there's not enough collaboration. The sort of software and startup communities coming out of the US and Europe and places like that have really started to foster that collaboration, which I think is fantastic. And I guess we're trying to bring that across into the old school, traditionally blue-collar manufacturing industry and trying to get more people to collaborate. I think a lot of people put a fence around themselves thinking that they're the only people that can do it, when in fact there's always someone that can do it better, and you just got to keep trying to find that person, learn from each other, and if everyone can make a dollar out of it, why not?
Yeah. And you mentioned before that you're trying to bring the manufacturing back to Australia. Why is it important that we're manufacturing here in Australia, not outsourcing?
I think it's important on a couple of fronts. One, obviously, really important for Australia. We're one of the manufacturing sector is one of the single largest employers in the country, so it's important from a growth perspective and for a future for Australia side of things. But it's also the reshoring of manufacturing back to Australia is by far the biggest silver bullet for jobs in Australia, new job growth. And ultimately, we can do it better. We, as a company, haven't been beaten on a plastic or composite part price quote in over 7 years from China. We've invested heavily in our equipment and our systems and processes to be able to do that. The advanced manufacturing facility we now have, but China can't do it cheaper. And not only just from a cost to cost part on the actual plastic itself, but we also help new founders and companies themselves refine their idea, and that's just something that almost any overseas manufacturer can't do. Like you're here in Australia, they're over there. It's really hard that communication piece at the very least. But the fact that we engage with the customer to try and improve their part costs and ultimately make them more successful, more competitive, it's just something that China just can't do. It's critical for a couple of different reasons.
Awesome stuff. Well, thanks for joining us.
Cool.
And you're off to a design awards tonight or something?
Yes, I'll show you.
Yeah.
So we were engaged by the guys at Good Design, so the Good Design Awards. They approached us to design the new trophy, and so we took the approach that we could actually send a message to the design community through this. So I don't know if everyone over there can see that. So that's full of ocean plastics. So
amazing.
The whole point of that was to design a trophy that, one, looked great, used recycled materials, but then we've actually collaborated with the guys from Seabin.
Yeah.
They've collected some ocean plastics. We've mixed it together with post-industrial and post-consumer waste, put it in the trophy, and the message there is that the design community is actually the first line of defence. They design the products that ultimately end up in the ocean and in landfill. So if we can work with designers to understand that they can use recycled materials, but also understand that their product ultimately will or will not end up in landfill, it's really important. So that's tonight. So
that's amazing, and that's a very powerful message. We've got to protect our oceans and look after Mother Nature. Thanks for joining us, man. Is there any way anyone can find out where you guys are? Is it website?
So website's evolvegrp.com, and get on the website, get in contact if we can help you out for sure, and always happy to help.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys, and keep watching for more at facebook.com/Beach City Life. Proudly brought to you by Everledger and Invest Sunshine Coast, and see you for more. Check her out.